What is up, everyone?
Okay, let's go.
I guess you like my new visual. Our new visual.
T'as tout fait ça dans l'avion, mon Jordy.
Yeah, sort
T'as
of.
tout fait ça dans le plane.
Sort of. You like it?
Insane. Wow. Check our entry, mon gars.
I love, for some reason, I don't know, I love the walking part when me and you are walking at the beginning with the
Insane.
footsteps. Tuk, 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 tuk. I put all those sound effects in separately. You know that? I put all those sound effects separately. I did everything with AI. It's getting better, bro. It's getting better.
Honnêtement, c'est vraiment cool.
I'm glad you like it.
Honnêtement cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comment. I really want to know what you guys.
It looks like TS. It looks like TSN.
Ah, mec, c'est sick. At the end, like the little strategy vault appearing. It's amazing.
When you see top 10 plays of the week.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so good. Right, bro, how are you? How was your flight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yo, weirdly enough, I have no jet lag. I was just yesterday. I feel great today, man. But I did a trick, though. I slept in the plane. I took a sleeping pill, slept in the plane yesterday. I toughed it out. Like, I arrived in Germany yesterday. I toughed it out all day. I was really tired, but I stayed awake until 10 o'clock. And then I knocked out like a sack of potatoes. So for whoever wants a trick to when you're traveling to Europe to not have any jet lag, try to sleep on the plane. And when you land, tough out sleeping during the day. Sleep only at night. And then boom, knock out. And then wake up. But you know what? Maybe I jinx myself. Maybe I wake up tomorrow and it really hits me, but who knows? But for now, we're all good. How are you, buddy? How's everything with you?
It's slowly but surely the season is starting again, and I feel like Donald Trump woke up something in terms of like
you're feeling it. You're feeling all his talks. Yeah. You're feeling it, right? You're a business owner. You feel, I'm sure, like the effects of his words, right?
He woke up the beast. He woke up the beast inside of any entrepreneur, any business owner. Of course, because you wake up. I'm pretty sure the whole weekend there was some people who had a hard time to sleep. Like, obviously, we were all at the edge of our seat, and that's what he wanted. Yeah. That's exactly what he wanted to create. So I feel like this week was a very intense, emotionally very intense week for all of us, all business owners in Canada, but also in some part of the U.S. Like there has to be some business owners in the U.S. who are feeling it, and I've seen it. But it's mostly on our part. But it's fun. I feel like in a few days, I've seen a bunch of like very positive things. There's a bunch of people who are finding their own countermeasure, and also I'm very proud to say that also we have our own countermeasure ready. So if anything happened, if next month he decides to, or next week, or next 2 weeks he decides to put the tariffs, you know what? I'm happy to tell you that we're ready. And for our clients, if they feel like they need to start to save some money on their accounts, we're ready. We're ready. We have a strategy for this. And I feel like I'm in terms like of I want to say that in the cleaning business, I feel like we're one of the few who have a plan. If we're going into a recession, we're not going anywhere. That's for sure.
I feel like a lot of us are playing the victim in this situation. We spoke on previous episodes. We spoke about not like having the victim mindset. Shit that you can't control. It's better just looking for solutions instead of just complaining. It's easy to point fingers and complain, but I know this because like I'm just a curious guy. I watch human behavior by reading. If you read comments, if you want to get a gauge on how people think, spend time reading comments on certain topics. You'll literally get insight on how people are thinking with no filter, right? Because they're behind the scenes writing. So
Yeah,
I
they
feel like,
forgot people could read them
yeah,
again and again
exactly.
and again and again. Yeah,
So like, and I'm reading a lot of stuff. A lot of people are blaming Trump, blaming Trump, blaming Trump. Nobody's blaming like
themselves.
themselves and our, yeah, like what can we do about this to capitalize on this? And what is what are our leaders doing? What is our government doing for this? And if you look at it, like, bro, our leadership, like, like, no offense, but they didn't really put us in a position to, like, building the pipelines and giving us other opportunities by opening up trade with other countries, selling oil to other countries. Like, we're
No, there was
vulnerable.
actually barriers to go
There's
these
barriers
ways.
like
Yeah,
crazy. So like, is that Trump's fault? Is that Trump's fault? So he decided to put, in his words, right? He decided to put America first, okay? Which, like, you could argue he is.
it's not the first time that happened. Like
Like, I
it's not
saw.
the
Did you
first
see?
time.
Did you see the newspaper? Stupid. You saw that journal? It said, "Stupid. Trump pushes his closest allies to the brink of recession." Like, yes, maybe, but bro, that's a victim mindset. Instead of saying, "What could we do to diversify, do business with other countries?" Right away, the
Or
blame
with
is
other or with other
on
provinces.
Trump. Like, you could argue that he's a prick, he's an asshole, whatever. But what did you do, or what
What
did
did you
your
do?
leaders do about it? Like, we could point fingers, but what if we look inwards? We spoke about it. It's important because we spoke about this. We had an episode on not playing the blame game. Not playing the victim. Wouldn't you agree? Kind of. Um,
It's
you know.
also about being omnipresent and being everywhere. Like you won't see uh, big businesses, the real corporate like Coke and these big businesses, like they're not in one country. They're like in all countries. They're trying to be like in every market. They try to take over. If you start complaining because your Canadian business is having a hard time because of these tariffs or that tariff, and like you need to
Mhm.
start opening up more about like if you're so vertical, you need to start opening up more a little bit. Like okay, maybe I should go left and right and see what's there. Um, and if your product have a hard time on right and left, maybe you should ask yourself about your product. Maybe you're not in the right market. Maybe you should like really think about like your product. That's what we did. That's what we did because we're like you could argue that cleaning is only cleaning. You could argue that cleaning is a very boring thing to sell. And
You
I
could also
could
argue that people always need cleaning, right? You can argue that.
there's always going to be cleaning to be done, my friend. Always. So there you could also argue that there always going to be cleaning to be sold. Ça va toujours rester.
You'll feel
Um,
it in a recession for sure, but there'll always be a market of companies
Cleaning
or
would get done.
corporations.
I'll
Yeah,
just get it that like we'll talk about
you could
more
find
on
different solutions, which, hey, we spoke about
yeah,
today. We
yeah,
spoke, like,
well, yeah,
that's an example of, I don't mean to butter you up, but that is what a good entrepreneur does.
mhm,
Solves problems. We're in a recession. Maybe it's not the best to offer our premium cleaning solutions at those high prices. Let's find another way
mhm.
to
To
work in their
help
budget, to
to
work in
help
and to find to
to
help.
to
Yeah, you're
fix
trying to
pain
find a,
points
you're fixing a problem and you're profiting off it. You're finding a way that they could afford your service
and still be there.
and
Like
still be
okay,
there.
you're trying to
You didn't
eliminate like
fucking go
costs and
crying.
everything.
You didn't.
Yes,
I didn't see you like. Okay, I saw
no,
you a bit. You were like, you
I
were in
was upset.
solution mode. You were like,
I was
oh,
upset,
how do
of
we?
course.
For sure. But you didn't just roll over. That's the thing. I'm talking about people are just there on social media blabbing away Trump this, Trump that, and rolling over, doing nothing
Mhm.
about it. And just spending their fucking time just writing posts. And then there's people like you guys solving problems. Doing stuff about it. So kudos to you, man. I tip my hat, bro. It's not easy.
Thank you. Thank you. And today
And
we're talking about the myth of time management. I know it sounds a little bit off topic, but it's not. Because in times like these, when money is scarce, because for us, if you really want to know, and true story, money was scarce. In January, we're used to have like I could go on with a true story. Okay, December, January, cleaning businesses for us. We're specialized cleaning business. We're providing you're gonna help me on this, George. Des services dans l'agroalimentaire, dans les usines alimentaires, so food plants,
food like food
food
processing
production,
plants,
food
food production.
processing plants. And right now, the food processing plants, they're still wondering: am I investing or am I stopping everything because next week, next month, next this, next that? I might just wait a couple months before I invest 5, 10,
Yeah.
15, 20, 20, 25, 100K
Yeah.
in my
I could
could
see
you
why
imagine?
I could see why it's uncertain, and I can see why the you would want to blame.
I could be
You know?
upset and start do the blame game and be like, hey, I lost K. I don't want to say it, but like, hey, I could be like, come on now. And start screaming at my clients, no, and cold call. I didn't do that. We sat down and we actually we didn't sit down and do nothing. We sat down in front of our computers and we really on a brainstorm. Okay, on a commencé à brainstorm à voir what would be. We played the game of what if. What if this guy goes on with the worst case scenario? 100% terrorist. F you, Justin Trudeau. We don't like you. 100% terrorist. Blah. Okay, so now we're stuck with only us and it's a real recession. We went on with that scenario, another scenario, like 3 different scenarios to brainstorm ideas and see what would happen. And with the what would happen game came ideas in the shower, ideas out while I was driving, ideas while I was out helping my guys. I've had different ideas that came from the dirt, from the dust, from down.
It's irresponsible. It's irresponsible to think that everything is always going to go smoothly in business. It's just irresponsible. Being a business owner, you have to be on your toes all the time for stuff that's going to happen that's not in your control, that you have to pivot, you have to solve problems, exactly like you were explaining.
So what would be my market like? What would it look like? What would my managers tell me tomorrow if this guy would strike everything and we lose? Like my plants are closing down. What would be left? You know, what would be left?
What left to do is to call Stratégie Conseil in times of turmoil and in economic uncertainty.
The phone would be blasting.
If you're feeling like your business is running like on a hamster wheel, let Stratégie Conseil shoot you straight to the stars. There's no spacesuit required. They'll streamline your sales process, automate your workflows, and help you ditch the busy work. Ready for liftoff? Head to stratégieconseil.ca and let the countdown begin.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our let's move on to the
let's move on, bro.
Yeah. To the questions. We have about another 15 minutes. So let's move on to some questions here. God. I know time flies. But hey, I feel like
we had 2 days. Yeah, we had like 2 days to à rattraper ensemble, bro. C'est pour ça. That's why.
It's okay. Pretty soon, you know what? Pretty soon we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna leave now. You're gonna see like 5, 6, 7, 8 people are just gonna come in fast.
That's always like that.
You wanna do a test?
All right. So today we're busting them.
Okay, let's do a test. Okay, guys. So we're gonna get going. Any last words, Phil? Anything else you want to add before we go?
You think it's gonna really help the algorithm?
I'm just curious. No, but now it knows that we know. So it's not gonna
15 minutes. It's not gonna do it. It's probably right at the end.
All right. Okay.
They know. All right. Today we're busting the myth of time management. I feel like it's an important topic. We're all in that hamster wheel, like you said, for Stratégie Conseil. Sometimes you feel like you're working, but you're really just pushing paper. Okay. We're just gonna go run through the key insight question from our notes, George.
I like the first one that you laid out over here, if you don't mind.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay, so we always talk about not having enough time. Why do you think most of us fall into this time scarcity mindset?
Look, I'm gonna speak for myself here because I could only speak about myself, and I have this is one of my weaknesses. Time management is one of my weaknesses. I sometimes fall into the trap of scrolling on social media. Like sometimes when I have the time, okay, like it's always when I don't have the time that I'm sitting there wishing that I had the time. And when I do have the time, I'm there sometimes scrolling through social media. I got time. I'll look at it. And then I snap out of it. I'm like, what are you doing? Now is the time that you had set aside to work on your project. Why? And I tell myself, like, why are you on social media? Why are you doing this right now? And so it's like the belief in your mind that you have all this time. And then when you actually don't have the time, and when it's crunch time, you're there thinking like, oh man, I wish I had the time right now to work on my project. This is talking about me personally. Sometimes I fall into that trap, and I need to. It's one of the weaknesses that I have that I need to, that I need to kind of work on. So I don't know if you would, what you guys think, if you guys kind of fall into that same trap there, if you're, you know, and that's why like Elon Musk's strategy of like putting yourself in that position where you're putting tight deadlines makes you kind of always in a sense it makes you always in that kind of cycle of I only have 2 days to finish this, so it puts you in that mode in your brain that you don't have time to waste. You know how Elon Musk is with his deadlines. So I feel like that's a good trick to put you in.
I'm gonna have to put a hold on the Elon Musk. On my part, I'm gonna tell you how I feel about Elon Musk. Maybe I don't want to go too much off topic, but this guy, I feel like he's it might be too much for him. You know, I see him change. I see him like. I think he's feeling like he's having effects that he doesn't control on his body right now. It's too crazy for him. So maybe he was right, but maybe for the long run, he still has stuff to learn, and he might learn it the hard way. I'm just telling you. I'm not reading the future. I don't have a
well, how can you be sure though of that? Like. Well, are you talking based on what you see, like on live TV? Like, what makes you think that? You think that he's burning out? You think Elon Musk is burning out?
We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time, and we could take a whole hour talking about this topic about Elon Musk. I've been following the guy since PayPal. I've been following the guy since the whole beginning of Tesla. I was really, really, really interested in his way of starting up businesses and the organization of work, how he was actually organization like this, his scheduling his day, like that was pretty interesting to me, pretty intricate. But right now, from what I see and all this stuff, I don't want to get too political, like with all this stuff that's happening with Donald Trump, but I think he's going over the top with all the things with X, and the results are short. And even him, about Twitter and X, like even him, he has a hard time finding solutions for his social media platform. There's less and less people on it, and there's less revenues. It's hard, like when you're spreading yourself so thin.
I don't think his goal was to make money with Twitter, though. I actually, anyways, I don't think his goal was to make money on Twitter.
It's costly. Twitter's costly.
But it's a fact that he overpaid Twitter. We know that. We know how much he paid for Twitter, right? 44 billion. He overpaid it by a lot. And then it dropped in value.
If we keep this like in terms of like the time management, like if we want to keep it on topic here, if we leave the money part alone, just in terms of time, if there was no money involved in the deal,
yep.
Okay, just in terms of time and how much time you could allow to really make your business thrive. I was pretty surprised when he spent billions of dollars to buy that thing. I was like, man, this is crazy, because you want to go to Mars. You want to take over. You want a multi-trillion-dollar business in the car industry, and now you're buying in social media. I was like, man, no. I got off the train at that point, really, with the Twitter buy. I was like,
yeah, but the Twitter buy, like I wouldn't talk about it as a business move. I'll talk about that more as like a, how do you want to call it? He wanted to quote unquote save free speech, because there was a lot of censorship and stuff, and his position was
Yes, you say that, but right now he's fighting Lego and all these big companies that were, putting a lot of advertisement money. He's fighting them in court, and he said it publicly that he's fighting them because they financially killed Twitter. Financially, right now, Twitter is only like surviving. It's not thriving.
Okay. I don't know. That's new information to me, actually. The last information that I had was that,
Yeah,
I don't know, Disney or
the
something
biggest,
were
the biggest,
stopping-
the biggest money money
I think
advertising is
advertisers have the
Lego,
right.
the Lego brand.
I don't think you should sue them. I don't agree with Elon Musk for doing that. I agree that they have, like, as much as he's trying to save free speech, they also have the right to not
To not be
like
that.
his platform. They have the right to not
Yep.
want to advertise, and he doesn't
Yep.
have any business trying to sue people for that. So, anyways, I don't agree with him on that.
So that's
I like
why.
I look, like the guy's you can't deny everything he's accomplished and everything he's done. And like I feel like when we're talking about time management, one of the first person that comes to mind is the way Elon Musk tackles, not just talking about one specific thing, but just the way he tackles like deadlines and stuff with SpaceX. The guy puts a limit, like, yeah, we're gonna build a rocket ship today, and tomorrow at noon we're launching it to Mars, like
But
stuff,
you know what
Kind
I
of puts
like
you in
about
that
him?
frame
The
of mind.
let's just frame what you're talking about, the time management part of his view on this, and I, because I applied, and it's also he's not because Elon is not the only one who's using that framework. So basically, they say the best way to get more time is to multiply your output. So, like, by basically making, like, for you and me, we're making calls, right? So if you make, like, most of the time, we would like make a benchmark or I mean moyenne là. Comment on dit une moyenne? How do you say moyenne?
a middle or a medium.
A medium. So on va faire un medium de genre what's 70 calls a day, 80 calls a day, 60 calls a day, whatever. 70 calls a day. That's average. Si tu es capable de faire the average, if you're able to do the average in 1 hour, you saved yourself a whole day, right? So if you focus on trying to make as much as possible out of your time.
Yes, but then it's also like, okay, if you did it all in 1 hour, like, are you skimping on quality? There's an argument you can make on that. But anyways, continue. I didn't mean to.
But that's my question. Do you think it's realistic? Do you think it's realistic for everyone, or just like pros? Because if you're a pro, you're able to go through your calls at least. Like, I understand 70 in an hour. Maybe it's too much, but like maybe in one in the morning. You do it like,
it all depends on what's a reasonable time frame. Like what is you have to establish what's a reasonable. Okay, so 70 calls. What's reasonable? If you do 70 calls,
okay. Let me give you an idea. Let me give you a
because like, bro, I could pick up the phone 70 times in an hour and just
you start earlier in the morning.
And like if I'm focusing my goal on just maximizing output and not necessarily maximizing appointments or conversions, that's a whole different ball game.
It's more about compressing time. So I'm gonna give you another example. We started in Uninet asking clients if we could show up earlier in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, to clean windows, because we could, to save traffic first, but also to compress time. So basically, we're before traffic, so we skip all of it. We leave at 4:30. We start brushing windows while the traffic passes. Then we have lunch. We have maybe one job left. Then the guys, they leave. They finish like 2:30, 3 o'clock. We go back home. We still skip traffic. And then I still have the whole afternoon to do like it's a glitch. It's a hack. You hack you still have pretty much the same energy. You just go to sleep a little earlier and you wake up the next morning.
That's a good time management hack for sure.
That's basically what we've been doing with the van. We save gas, we save a bunch of money. So
time on traffic for sure. Yep.
it's really a myth when they say that you should balance things. That's the most dangerous. I feel like it's the most dangerous thing to say, like,
Yeah, I
oh, you
agree.
should balance, because in
I
your
agree.
brain you're gonna be balancing what, traffic.
Yeah,
I need to
time management
balance.
is maximizing your output with the time that you have.
Yes.
And I'll give you another example of how I see time management. For example, if you're doing sales calls, find out what's the best time of the day to call and what's the best time of the day to send emails, because you have to send emails.
Mm.
Are you going to send emails Monday morning at 9 a.m. when it's go time? No. Are you going to send? Maybe it's best to just call, write down customer emails, take down a list of emails, and then maybe Friday, boom, you send out all the emails Friday afternoon when nobody's answering. Use that time to send emails. So that's what time management is, managing how to get the best output with the time that you have. So Monday morning, 9, 10 o'clock, I'm not gonna be sending out emails, right? Because that's the best time of the day to make calls. That's just to give you an example. I'm not saying it's the best time to make calls. It probably is, but and like you said as well,
It
like you have
is.
to
It
get to your
is.
destination. You have to get to your destination, which is get to your destination to clean the windows or take care of your client. And you're just saying, like, instead of going at 9 a.m., like the client wants you to go at 9 a.m. because it suits him. No, let me try to make it suit me or make it suit both of us. I'll come at 5 a.m. I'll skip the traffic. The job is still going to get done. Nothing is going to change, but I'll come there at
Nothing's
5
gonna
a.m.
change. It's all about compressing time. I'm gonna give you another example, because you were talking about sales and all that stuff. Like throughout the years when we started with the CRM and all that stuff, like you were like creating the whole thing for the client, the lead,
Yep.
everything you had to be created. We
Yep.
had no systems.
We had no delegation. We were just wearing 100 hats.
Oh my god, it was so messy. And I remember, like, at the beginning I had no idea of how we were gonna, like, skip time on all these tasks. And now you have buttons. Now, like, years after years, I look, I literally time everything, every seconds it takes. Sometimes I make a test lead on my thing, and I go through all the process that you guys are going through to see how much time it takes to go from one thing to the other and to fill out the information. Sometimes, bro, I just did that. I was like, man, this takes too long. So I switch it to make sure that the next time you guys are going to be doing it, I'm implementing new systems. So you guys are going to be spending less time doing it each time. I've spent time. I could spend like a whole weekend trying to fix a system that's going to be like shorting up the whole processes throughout the
Yeah.
whole year and
Yeah.
for the rest of
You
it.
work on the systems. Yeah, for sure. You know who else is a big believer in working on systems? Uninet.
Yes, it's true.
Uninet is a cleaning and maintenance company in the island of Montreal. If you have sticky floors, dusty corners, and never-ending to-do list turning your workspace into chaos, enter Les Entretiens Uninet. They'll tackle every speck of dirt so you can tackle the big stuff like crushing your goals. Wave goodbye to grime and hello to a workspace that's as fresh as your next big deal. Give them a call. Send them an email if you guys are looking for a quote. Cleaning windows. Spring is around the corner. You guys might have windows to be cleaned. Definitely check them out. Give them a call for a free quote. All right. Okay.
Let's go. So
So
why do you
I,
think
I,
so many of us treat work and time management like a chore? Like, and why top performers, they see it like as a reward, and they see it like as a game? Why is it so hard, like, for people to see time management as something like that could set them apart and really make them happy, bro? That's when I started, like, really put stuff in my agenda, and like just entering more stuff in my life. Je faisais juste how could I say that? I was just pushing myself more, man. I was just not looking at the clock and how many, like, this podcast. I was not looking at, like, am I gonna have enough time to do this every day? If I would have, bro, imagine this question at the beginning of the podcast. Why on va avoir le temps? Are we gonna? Is it gonna work? We never asked ourselves that. You can't say that. You need to push yourself. You need to put
You say,
stuff in
how
your
can
agenda.
how can I make it
How
work? Then
can I
your brain
make
just
it
opens up.
fit?
How can I make it fit? Let's talk about the more, the big stuff.
The
Then you could
business.
argue, hey, shorter times is more engaging, and we could fit more. How can I say this? We can fit more hard hitting information that's more impactful, and eliminating all the fluff. How can we maximize,
Yes.
really, really
Yes,
good
in 30
content
minutes.
in 30 minutes? And then
Bro,
your brain starts to open up, like, how? Okay, so let's eliminate this automatically. Let's eliminate this, and then boom, we skip on the good stuff. But I still think we're obviously still working on our formula, but I think we're getting somewhere right now.
I have fun, so that's the best thing.
So do I.
Bro, I have a blast every time we jump in, and I have to say, bro, like this podcast and having it fit into my schedule every day, making content, having to create content in a short amount of time every single day made me realize how many barriers we tell ourselves before starting a project. We're like, no, I'm never gonna have enough time. My wife's gonna tell me, no, it's too long. Yes, of course. At the beginning, it took me like 4 hours, 5 hours. Yeah. But I'm a business owner. I know, like, as business owners, we know it's our job to like compress time and compress system. It's our fucking job, bro. If you have any type of business, let's say you have a nice, like a Dairy Queen, whatever. Are you gonna complain because you have a lineup in front of it? Oh, I have too many clients, man. It takes too long.
No, the only lineup that I hate, the only lineup that I complain in is waiting in line at Quinta restaurant. That's the only line I don't want. There's lineups every day there because the food is so good, but I hate being in those lineups. If ever you're craving a little Portuguese food, minus the plane ticket, a Quinta restaurant brings the flavor of Portugal right to your plate. Their fire-grilled specialties and warm hospitality will make you forget the hustle in one delicious bite. You can find them at 1851 Rue Ontario East, or visit them at Aquinta, that's AQUINTA.ca. Ready for some lip-smacking R&R? This is your boarding pass. All right.
Let's go.
I was there. I went to eat a poutine, a Portuguese poutine. Have you ever had that? It's poutine. Poutine. My God. It's poutine with chorizo. Chorizo, chicken, and I think smoked meat. So it's like a mix of three. Bro, is it there on the image?
I don't think
bottom
so.
Right. Look, bottom right of the image.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Bro, it's so. Oh my God, it's so delicious. We went there. I invited you.
I was there. No, I was there. I came.
No, you didn't. You didn't come. I was there a few days ago.
A few days ago, no. Sorry.
I forget you.
I
was there. Dario was there. Huge lineups like I've never seen. And I told Rick, I'm like, Rick, what's going on? Since we started advertising you guys on our podcast, you started getting all kinds of clients. He's dying of laughter. I actually showed him a recording. I forgot to tell you, I showed him a recording of our ad. They loved it. They even gave me some free stuff.
No way.
Stuff. We really like it. We really like they like the ads that we're doing for Aquinta. So keep it up.
Amazing. Shout out to Aquinta.
Shout out to Aquinta. Amazing.
Shout out Jose and Rick. We love you guys. Hey, man, that was a nice episode. How much time are we? 35 minutes.
35 minutes.
Man, we still have questions, bro. That was a nice subject.
Look, we could do one more question.
Okay, one more. Let me choose it.
And tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, as of starting tomorrow, because like Felix and I didn't really discuss what time we're gonna start our lives when I come back to Europe. So today, because we didn't really discuss it, we said, okay, we'll go on 5 o'clock.
So what time is it right now? What time is it right now for you?
Right now, it's 10 to 11. So it's not going to be like this every day, but just today. As of tomorrow, we're doing it at noon. Noon, Montreal time.
Yes. So from now on, it's noon, right? Noon every day.
Yeah. So from
until further.
Okay. Yeah. Until further instructions. Until further notice. So here, let's ask. We did all our sponsors. Our sponsors are all taken care of. Fel, Do you want me to choose the next question, or would you like to choose the next question?
So how do you feel? I have one in sight, but I'll let you
Go
choose
for
one.
it. No, no, no. Go for it. You since you have
Okay.
one inside, bro, I
Hi,
can't let
bro.
you
Since
down,
we're
buddy.
talking about like traveling and all that stuff, like like for some people they might be like, okay, if I start something and I tell my viewers that I do an every day of 5 days a week type of podcast, if this week we missed a couple shows, we missed two shows this week, we missed yesterday and the day before
Hmm.
on Monday. How do we balance rest, travel, and productivity without feeling guilty? Do you feel guilty sometimes? I was a little bit. I was Did you?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Yes and no. I felt guilty because like I have I made a commitment to do this every day, but I also didn't feel guilty at the same time because like it's
I know.
when something's out of my control, I try to not be too upset at myself. And last night, like Paul, like I was exhausted. Like forget it. And I was exhausted. Number one and number two, I had to set up and everything. There was no.
Ouais, non, c'est sûr. And I even told you, I was like, ben non, bro.
Yeah. So no, thank you
I
for
was not
understanding.
expecting, ben non, I
I
was not
really appreciate
expecting.
you understanding that. That's what makes us great
Of
at
course.
doing these things together. So we always we understand each other and to make a
Yeah,
good
to
team.
keep having fun doing it, you need to allow yourself that flexibility.
Yeah.
And I was reading that in the book, in the chapter, because I still we were at we're still at chapter 18 of the 10x rule. No, sorry, chapter 17 that I read today, the myth of time management. Very interesting chapter.
Very interesting
Um,
topic that I think people could relate to.
yeah,
Let us know in the comments, guys. Let us know in the comments. How do you manage your time?
and how
Are
do
you
you
guys?
like how to make more time for your project, your personal project? Is it only work, sleep, work, sleep? If you feel that type of way, there has to be like there has to be a change. You need to do something.
If
If
you
it's
guys are just
only
going to work and just going to bed or just going home and watching Netflix, like let's talk about it. Like let's
yeah,
talk about it. You're living
yeah,
this one life. You need something to look forward to. You need something to as a human. You need like you can't just think like okay, it's life is just work, go home, roll myself a little joint, have a glass of wine or alcohol, watch TV. Okay,
mm,
like you're not living for that. It doesn't make sense, guys. Even if we're living
no.
in a simulation, which
Yeah,
there's no.
the book mentions if you're 37 years old right now, you have
Oh, you still got so
19.
much fucking time.
No, but
You got
if
so much time. You're 40 years old.
let's
You have
say
so much time.
assuming you would die at 75 years old, which is pretty young, right?
Especially today with
If you
the
have
advancement
37
in
years old right now, you have about they say 1,950 Wednesdays left. So what do you do with $1,950? If you had $1,950 left in your bank account, what would be your next actions to make them worth? That's my question. That's my question. My final question to you. If your last not even $2,000, you have $1,950
Mhm,
left to your account, left to your name,
mhm.
and you need to do something about it because you need to leave something to your
Yeah,
kids, to
you
your
want to make
legacy.
changes. Yeah. So
What
my
are you
answer
gonna
is very
do?
simple. Very simple. Educate yourself. Find something that you want to do and use that money to gain the knowledge. Find out what you like to do. You want to build content. You want to be a content creator. Go buy yourself a course. Spend time researching how to
Escape the fucking matrix, bro. Escape.
and you could only do that.
Escape.
You could only do that with knowledge. You can't just decide. Of course, you have to just decide. Like, I want to escape the matrix. I want to do more of my life. I want to leave my job. But you need to invest in educating yourself.
Yeah, you need to spend some
You don't know
one-on-one time with
everything.
yeah.
We don't know everything. Like I like it's in my goals. I write it down every day. I want to learn something every day. I want to learn something. I know I don't know everything that I need to. I know there's so much more shit that I need to learn. You know. So
I feel like I get the best out of like the one on when I have some one-on-one time with myself, I'm asking myself the real questions. And that's what happened in the past few days. I've stopped trying to like be on the go and be on like In the past, I was like everyone else. I was upset with the tariffs. I was upset with Donald Trump, what he was like. He's creating instability, right? So
Mhm.
I'm we're not losing clients because of
Yeah.
it. So that's the positive. They're not lost. They're still there, but they're unsure. So they don't want to
Yeah.
spend. So it's very hard right now because on your finance, of course, you have to like support, sustain, survive, call it what you want. Um,
But crises come to an end, like they always do.
but I've
We're always
spent
gonna
my
be in fucking
time.
crisis. We're always gonna be like, imagine just saying like, I'll start a business when everything is good and stable. Not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
that's right.
There's
You can't. It's impossible.
it's never going to
That's
be good and
it.
stable. There's always going to be crisis. There's always going to
That's
be
it.
shit that's going to go wrong. This is something that
Mhm.
I've learned with personal. I've heard about it, and I've heard gurus say this. I've heard people say it, and
Mhm.
I've fucking experienced it myself.
And how do you
There's
spend your
never
time? Is the question I'm asking.
there's
I'm
just keep
asking you. How
fucking
do you
going,
spend your
keep going. Like
time when
just
it's
keep
happening?
going, keep pushing, keep going. Like okay, time. There's gonna be economic times where it's gonna be slower, where there's gonna be like tariffs around the corner potentially. There's gonna be COVID. There's gonna be another pandemic. There's gonna
Mhm.
be a fucking recession. Too much money printing. Too much
Mhm.
inflation. Shit's getting more expensive. People have less money to spend. There's always gonna be something
Mhm.
wrong,
Yeah,
and it's your job to figure out how do you solve problems because
yeah.
there's
It's
always
a
gonna
lifeline,
and if
right?
you look at it, if you switch it and you turn it into like how can I make an opportunity of this? COVID. What do people need during COVID? Cleaning, disinfectant. What do people need? What can I do during now? There's tariff. Well, I don't know. Let's talk about this right now. There's tariffs that are potentially coming. How can we profit from this? How can we
So
profit from tariffs? I don't even know this the answer to this question, but let's talk about it before we go. How can we
it's
profit from
I could
tariffs?
tell you right now. I've seen in the news in the past 2 days that already some local brands are seeing more people coming into like they're
What did
sold
I say
out.
today?
Some of them are sold out.
What did I tell you today? I said, "Hey, Phil, with these tariffs that are coming onto the U.S., why not promote yourself as made in Canada? Like people want to like. Did you notice all the unity that's coming out of this? Did you notice that all the I don't know if you watched the hockey games in Canada, the football, the basketball games, the people are booing the United States national anthem. The Canadians are united right
I have to
now.
tell you, we're made out of all the nationalities because I have Mexican working for me, Colombians. I have African people, people coming from Africa, all countries, Senegal. I
Mhm.
have, I have people coming from everywhere.
They're good
So
workers, man.
we're,
They work hard.
bro. They're all they
They're
become
really
friends,
happy
bro.
to have
Like
a
they
job.
become,
Yeah.
bro. They at some point we're made out of how do you say that mosaic? Do you say that in English?
Mosaic. Yeah, I get what you're saying because it's like bits and pieces all together to form one big.
Bro, you're Italian, born and raised in Laval, speak French, but we're a bunch of things. We're not one
Mhm.
thing, bro. Like, and you can't consider yourself like one single. Like, if we would call you out only for your Italian features, you would be mad. You would, hey, I'm not only that, bro. I'm also a bunch of other things. I know a bunch of French expressions and a bunch of like you're also your own little mosaic. So imagine all these people
Yep.
altogether. So some of these guys from Senegal, they went through other countries and they know stuff. Some of these people from 80, they went through other like South American countries and they know Spanish and they know a bunch of other culture stuff that
Yeah.
you couldn't imagine. Only if you talk to them and you get to know them, you're like, wow, it exists. Yeah, okay. You worked in Chile, yeah, because the Asian government has something with the Chile government, so you go work there. I don't know, like something that someone told me, like I don't know if I say it properly, but I'm just giving you examples of like a bunch of like different people that you, if you really spend time knowing them, like you're really gonna enjoy yourself. And just like spending time, just like splitting. I don't want to like, bro. I don't want to get too much too off topic. We have to leave here, but like like this where you're coming from topic is really it's my kids, they come from like a bunch of places now. My kids,
Mhm.
they're mixed, so all kids are going to be mixed by like 20-30 years now. We're just gonna have like kids from all over the world having kids with other persons from all over the world. Like it's not going to be relevant in a couple of years.
But just getting back to my question just for a second, the finding, because we talk about finding solutions in times of economic uncertainty. So like, if I were to ask you, okay, now with the tariffs looming around the corner potentially, give me one example of what you would do to your business that you could use these tariffs to your advantage instead of just sitting down and complaining.
So in time like these, people are trying to save money, right? Like,
right.
People are trying to save on their services.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that as a business owner, you won't want to like cut on your business services and like cut on your prices. That's not what we want. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about you and your experience and how like you how much do you know your client needs and industry and pain points.
You find a way to work. You find a way to work with them.
You work around that because you're the best person. You're the best oriented, experienced person to fix that problem, no matter what happens. If you really think about it, like we're in the cleaning business, there's still going to be cleaning needed in a bunch of places. You just need to find out where it's needed and how to present yourself to present that service in those unstable times. So you need to just.
And if you flip the switch and you say like, and for example, if somebody's business fails because of the quote unquote tariffs, they didn't fail because of the tariffs. They failed because of your inability to pivot.
And be enough horizontal, like instead of just like vertical, selling one type of product.
Because realistically speaking, the way I view it is, if you go in business, you should already know that nothing is sure. You should already know. You shouldn't be surprised by stuff that arises. You can like, it's gonna hit you across the head and it's gonna like daze you, like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? That's totally normal, but it's how you react to it afterwards, right? It's how you it's like Rocky says, it ain't about how hard you get hit. It's about how many times you get hit and you get back up and you keep going forward.
100%.
So
100%.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
We're gonna leave it at that. We have to go. I have to leave. Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for being with us. Tomorrow is Tactics Thursdays, so be with us for some nice sales and closing tactics. Until then, make every moment count.
Yes.
See you next time, guys.
See you next time, guys. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and and tell a friend. And we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Ciao, George. See you tomorrow.
Ciao, pal. See you tomorrow.